Reactions are continuing to flood in regard to Joe Biden's decision to pardon his son, Hunter. Liberal pundit Molly Jong-Fast on MSNBC was rendered speechless as the news came out. Let's watch.
I just heard it. I have to process it. I don't have a take. I'm sorry.
It's one way to respond to what has happened. Mehdi Hassan has also weighed in. Let's watch.
Did Joe Biden lie when he said he wouldn't pardon Hunter Biden? Clearly he did. Is he a hypocrite for saying no one is above the law and then putting his son above the law? Yes. Should the presidency be used to protect family members? No. I think we can all agree on those points. Having said that, the kind of outrage from Republicans and some in the media is a little bit kind of ridiculous. We all know that Hunter Biden was targeted. The president is right when he says that they went after his son because he was his son. Anyone called Hunter Smith wouldn't have been prosecuted in the same way for the tax evasion and the gun form.
CNN's Republican contributor Scott Jennings blasted Biden. Take a look.
We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
Social media erupted as well. Trump diehard Marjorie Taylor Greene posted, quote, "Hunter Biden broke gun laws. He broke the FARA Act. And worst of all, he broke the Mann Act by sex trafficking women across the country. This pardon is Joe Biden's admission that Hunter is a criminal. Biden tried to throw President Trump's sons in jail, but he let his son off free even though he's a convict." And House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer issued a statement saying, quote, "The charges Hunter faced were just the tip of the iceberg in the blatant corruption that President Biden and the Biden crime family have lied about to the American people. It's unfortunate that, rather than come clean about their decades of wrongdoing, President Biden and his family continue to do everything they can to avoid accountability." And GOP Representative Wesley Hunt posted, quote, "The Biden crime family played the only card they had left, using the power of the pardon before America's president returns to the White House."
So we have been discussing this all morning. Obviously, you're seeing condemnation, strident condemnation from Republicans. I think that's not surprising. I think a little bit more surprising, although called for, is reaction from certain Democrats criticizing it. I noted earlier that Jared Polis, the governor of Colorado, has done so and then had a rebuttal immediately from Eric Holder, who was defending this decision by Joe Biden. I see a lot of very negative takes from otherwise pro-Biden but frustrated with his decision to remain in the race so long type liberal people, including Jonathan Chait, who wrote an article for The Atlantic about why this was bad, Matt Iglesias, Nate Silver, some kind of centrist Dem pundit people that I read frequently, all saying this is bad and opens the door for Trump to do whatever he wants on pardoning and is hypocritical and is clearly, there's no arguing against it, a violation of what Joe Biden said repeatedly that he would not do this. His press secretary on his behalf said repeatedly he would not do this, that this was off the table, and he has broken that vow.
There's nothing more dangerous in politics than an event or occurrence that reinforces an existing narrative. So you saw in each of those quotes from people, the Biden crime family, that was a organized talking point on the political right. And now you have a situation where the Biden administration is reinforcing those negative narratives about them. That is devastating. It doesn't matter so much for Joe Biden because he's on his way out of the White House and out of politics, but it does matter for Democrats who come in the future who want to rebuild the party's brand. And for all the people who said incessantly over the last couple of years and beyond that no one is above the law, that is no longer true when it comes to Joe Biden and his family. And if there's any silver lining that may come out of this, is the fact that Biden and Trump actually do agree on something. And if there is a systemic issue in the Justice Department that they've been able to get an inside glimpse at more than the general public, well, heck, they should illuminate that for the American people and put in place some systemic criminal justice reforms. It's not about pardoning your son, although that is egregious for the reasons we've mentioned. It's about all of the innocent people around America who are maybe unjustly pursued by a Justice Department. I'm not saying that's true or not true, but we're seeing some tea leaves that may be true, and if it is, they should do something about it.
Joe Biden has left, I think it's fair to say, the Democratic Party in shambles as he is departing the political scene. He has presided over a win in 2020, obviously, but then a series of political setbacks. He came to office with a mandate to restore normalcy after a tremendous amount of burnout and frustration with the situation being what it was in the country, so terrible, the pandemic, the economy, etc. People just said we want normal and we want stability and we want things to get better. And 4 years later, the perception of the American people is that that did not take place, that the economy was not where the American people wanted it to be, that the costs of goods and services was out of control, that immigration, illegal immigration had gotten out of control, was contributing to crime, and Biden was not able to stop any of those things. He then was himself not in position to run for re-election, but was doing it anyway and dragged the party down with him. He now exits the scene at a time where how will the Democrats rebuild from the position they're in? They're now having one of their last remaining planks that there's something uniquely corrupt and evil and megalomaniacal about Donald Trump, and that was their remaining pitch, one that even people who voted for Trump, see, there's voters who agree with that and still voted for Donald Trump, but that's their pitch, and now Joe Biden does this to them right at the very end and strips away some of the potency of that argument, that there's something uniquely corrupt about Donald Trump when this is the Biden family.
I think part of the reason why many of those Trump voters who didn't like Trump's character but still voted for him is that Trump is the hired gun to go in and disrupt the system. Situations like this Hunter Biden pardon only reinforce that dynamic, I think, for Trump voters. But you look at the totality of the Biden presidency, he had some individual policy wins, and some that I very much agree with. For example, the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which was a gun violence prevention bill that put in place red flag laws. There's certain things like that that are important, but when you get beyond some of those policies to the overall feeling of the presidency, of why he was voted in the first place, to return to normalcy, to restore trust in institutions, to restore the soul of America, on those fronts, he has unfortunately failed, and a number of the presidents over the last 15 years have failed at their core premises to fix the system or change the culture of Washington like Obama talked about, or Trump drained the swamp only got swampier, and now the same thing has happened to Biden. So maybe it's time for us to take a deeper look at the political system and address the structural issues of why it's not delivering for the American people.
I would love to see that take place. Trump has an opportunity. It's on him now to implement that suggestion. That does it for us today on Rising. Thanks so much for tuning in, and please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere you can find podcasts, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Same rising time, same rising place. See you then.